Last time, I think so, I had completed till he will only waste on his friends the money. Okay, we are studying about the thief story. So in the thief story, I had explained you how the Hari Singh, a thief, is approached to the next character, which is Anil, 25 years old, and how he approaches him. Can you feed me? Then after that, he said, yeah, I can feed you if you cook terribly and all. And when he earned a money, he kept that money under the mattresses. So now the Harrison is going to take that money, is going to steal that money. Okay, and definitely it is very difficult for him to steal that money because Anil was a very sincere guy. So it becomes very difficult for him to rob him. So now the now Harrison is going to steal the money. We will look at that. Anil was asleep. A beam of moonlight stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. Okay, this is the situation. Anil was asleep. Okay, Anil was sleeping. Anil was sleeping, and the moonlight is coming from out of the window inside the bedroom. Okay, inside the bedroom, which is the moonlight was falling on the bed, and then the harassing, which means a thief, is I sat up on the floor. He's saying he sat up on the floor and considering the situation. Anil was sleeping on a bed and he is sat up on a floor and is considering the situation. Like how he is going to be stolen that money, how. Like whenever you are going to be stolen, so you will consider the situation now. You will not directly go and directly rob. You will consider the situation. Okay? And and then if I and then he's thinking if I took the money I could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. Like he is setting up, he is considering the situation. He is back of the mind thinking that if I took the money now I will take the 10:30 a.m. Lucknow express. Slipping out of the blanket, I crept up to the bed. Uh, I crept up to the bed and Anil was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined, showing uh, showing no signs of worry or anxiety. His face was clear and unlined, and even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. Okay, so then Hari Singh was decided to get out from the blanket. Okay, like he was also sleeping, so he removed the blanket and he went close to the Anil bed, and then after that he saw the Anil was no Anil face is not showing any worry or anxiety. In fact, his face was full by scars, which means there are so many marks are there in Hari Singh. And my hand slid under the mattress and searching for the notes. Then after that, Hari Singh put his hand under the mattress and then searching for the notes where the notes are there. And when I found them, I drew them out without sound. So Hari Singh is explaining that he went to the close to the Anil bed and he put his hand and he when he found the notes and he drew out without sound. And Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side towards me. Then after that, when he removed the notes and then Anil turned towards himself. Okay, he was sleeping opposite sides, opposite sides of the bed, and now he is facing towards him. Now he is facing towards him, and I was started and quickly crawl out of the room. And after that, he got the money and he was started uh, quickly moving and crawl out from the room. And when I was on the road, I began to run. Okay, and when he was on the road, he was already outside. And when When the Hari Singh was on the road and he began to run. He started began to run, and I had the notes at my waist. And then after that, he has that notes on his pocket, which means at his waist, and held there by the string of my pajamas. And Hari Singh is explaining that he went out and he started running on the road, and his notes is having on the pocket. And I slowed down to a walk and counted the notes. Then after that, he stopped the running. He slowed down. He 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 went by walking only, and he counted the notes. Counted the notes. How many notes are there? There were total 600 rupees in 50s. Okay, how much? 600 rupees in 50s. Right. So how many 50s will be there in 600? Which means you can divide it by 5. Okay, you can divide it by 5. 5. It will be 12. How many notes? It will be 12 notes. Okay, it will be 12 notes of 50. Okay, it will be 12 notes of 50. Right. Okay, it will be 12 notes of 50. Then 12 notes of 50. When I counted, I could live like an oil. I could live like an oil-rich Arab for a week or two. Then after that, Hari Singh started walking, and he is thinking that he is have 600 rupees, so he will live like a rich person, like a Arab, like in Saudi Arabia the people are living. So he is thinking that he will live like a Arab or a prince for a week or a 2 weeks. And when I reached the station, I did not stop at the ticket office. I had never bought a ticket in my life. So when he reached the station, he did not stop at the ticket counter because he did not taken the ticket in his lifetime, but dashed straight to the platform. But he went towards the platform. The Lucknow Express was just moving out. The train has still to pick up speed and I should have been able to jump into the one of the carriages, but I hesitated for some reason I can't explain, and I lost the chance to get away. So specifically, when Hari Singh reached to the station, and he directly went towards the platform because he never taken a ticket in his life, and he saw that the Lucknow Express was beginning to move. It already started. So he will there is a chances he will uh, get the train, but suddenly he hesitated. I don't know why he hesitated. He is explaining. He will explain why he was hesitated. And then, when the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. When the train went, he found himself standing on that platform alone. Because definitely, whenever you lost the train, there were no people are there. You were standing in the deserted platform. I had no idea where to spend the night. He have no idea where he is going to spend that night. I had no friends, believing that friends were more trouble than me. Even the Hari Singh don't have friends. Also, he is believing that friends are more trouble than help. And I did not want to make any curious by staying at one of the small hotels near the station. And he have a money. He don't have any curious to stay near the one of the hotel of the station. Okay, so he's thinking that what he will do. The only person I knew really well was the man I had dropped. So he's thinking that he lost the train, and he's thinking he's alone over there. He's thinking that very best it, and he is only thinking that only one person is left that he had dropped just now, which means Anil. And leaving the station, I walked slowly through the bazaar. And he left the station, and he was walking slowly through the bazaar. There were so many bazaars are there, and he was walking through the bazaar. And then, in my short career as a thief, okay, in his short career as a thief, I had made a study of man faces when they had lost their goods, and Hari Singh is explaining that in his career, which means a thief career. He had understood the thief faces whenever they are losing. Like for example, if you lose a mobile phone, and he knew, like, how the person making the faces, he's good at that. The greedy man showed a fear. The rich man showed an anger. So he's explaining that, like, if I stole a greedy man, he will show a fear. And if I show a rich man, okay, if I stole or rob a rich person, then he will show a anger. Okay, he will show a anger. And if I robbed a poor man, then he will show the acceptance. Okay, the three type of people. So like when Hari Singh is explaining, like, if he rob a poor person, the poor person will accept, it's okay. Yeah, my mobile phone is lost, it's okay. And he is explaining, if the rich person will become anger, and like that the greedy person will become very fear. Okay, and but I knew that Anil faces, when he discovered the that, but he already knew that the Anil faces, what kind of faces he will make, would show only touch of sadness. Okay, so he is explaining that I stole the 600 rupees, so he will not feel greedy, he will not a greedy person, so he will show a little bit sadness, then he will accept. And not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. He will only be sadness, not for the money, but only for the loss of trust, because he will feel sadness, because he made a bond between the Hari Singh and the Anil. And then I found myself in the Maidan and sat down on a bench. Then after walking, he found himself near the Maidan, and he sat over there near the bench of the Maidan. The night was chilly, and it was early November, and the light drizzle added to my discomfort. Soon it was raining quite heavily, and my shirt and pajamas stuck to my skin, and the cold wind blew the rain across my face. So specifically where he found himself at the Maidan. Okay, and he sat over at the bench. And when he sat at the bench, it was in November. Then rain was started, and their pajamas and everything was wet. Okay, everything was wet, and I went back to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter. Then after that, he again went to the bazaar, which means near the station. He sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. He sat down near the clock tower. The clock showed midnight, and I felt for the notes. Then after the clock showed it was a midnight, which means near 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock. And then I felt for the notes. They were damp from the rain. So when he felt for the notes, and it was totally wet, it was totally damp in the rain. And Anil's money, in the morning he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema, but now I had it all, and I couldn't cook his meal, run to the bazaar to learn to write the whole sentence anymore. So now the Hari Singh is sitting near the bazaar, and he is thinking that, like, I couldn't make a meal for him, I will not get the money, and I will not write any sentence, and I will not add something. So he is realizing while sitting on the bazaar, like, what kind of loss he make already. Okay, and then I had forgotten, and then after that Hari Singh is saying, I had forgotten about them in the excitement of thought. Like, when he make a theft, in the excitement of the night, he forgotten everything, like what kind of benefit he is making. The whole sentence I knew could one day bring me more than a few hundred rupees. And the whole sentence what I am learning, and it will bring a more money, few hundred rupees, by if I educate myself. And it was a simple matter to steal, and sometimes just as a simple to be caught, and sometimes just to be simple to be caught, but to be really a big man, a clever and respected man, was something else. And I should go back to Anil, and I told myself, if I only to learn to read and write. So after that, the Hari Singh was calculating his type, what kind of big mistake he made while stealing. So he thought like he will go to Anil and he will say everything like sorry about myself, sorry, and like he wants to read and write. And then he hurried back to the room, feeling very nervous. For for it is much easier to steal something than to return it undetected, right? So specifically, he's very nervous about that. Like he's more nervous about that. It is more difficult. Like you had steal very easily, but you need to keep in that place it becomes more difficult, like without detected. And I opened the door when he reached to the home, Anilum. Then he opened the door quietly, then stood in the doorway. Then he stand in the doorway for a few minutes, and in clouded moonlight, Anil was still asleep. Anil was still sleeping, and I crept to the head of the bed, and then he went to the head of the bed, and my hand came up with the notes, and I felt his breath on my hand, and I remained still for a minute at that time, and then my hand found the edges of the mattresses and slipped under it with the note. And then after that, the harassing boss kept the note where the note was before. Then I awoke late next morning to find that Anil was had already made a tea. Then after that, Hari Singh was slapped at that time while keeping the notes on that same place. Then after that, he woke up on the next morning. Then Anil had already made a tea, and he stretched out of his hands towards me. And after that, he stretched out his hand towards me, and there was a 50 rupee note between his finger. There was a 15 rupee note between his finger, and my head sank. Like I was very depressed about it, and I thought I had been discovered. Like he is thinking that like he knew already, and I made some money yesterday, he explained, and now you will be paid regularly. Then after that, the Anil was explaining him, in the morning I had some money, and then you will be paid regularly. And my spirit rose, and my hopeful. But when I took the note, I saw it was still wet from the night rain. Like when the Anil given to the note, and he is like still it was wet because of night rain. Today we will start the writing. Then Anil said, today we will start a writing sentence. And he knew, but neither his lips nor his eyes. Okay, he knew neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. Okay, and he knew that. The Anil knew that, but neither his eyes showed anything. I smiled at Anil at my most appealing way, and the smile came by itself without any effort. Okay, so the fact is that the Anil already knew that. Because of the smile they have understood. Okay, the chapter was very nice. There was a two character are there. The one character was Anil, and the second character was Hari Singh. Hari Singh was a 15 years old, and then Anil was a 25-year-old, and Hari Singh is narrating the story of the thief story to us, and how Hari Singh is explaining how we approaching, how we stealing, and how to give him back. Right. The moral of the story is that like you cannot do a wrong thing with a good person, right? Okay.